Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, I wanted to just talk a little bit about why it's so important to price your house right and how to do that, because I've been talking to a few people who are thinking about selling lately, and I feel like that's just always a big question that people have between where they live and what the market's doing and keeping it competitive for buyers, but also still making sure that you're going to get what you want out of the house. It can just be really confusing and complicated, I feel like, to choose a list price for your house. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what goes into that decision and how to make sure that you're pricing correctly. So if this is a situation that you might be in, hopefully this helps you guys out, and let's just jump on in. Okay, so honestly, if you are selling your house and you're trying to come up with a list price, I feel like it is good to have an idea of what you think your house might be worth just in your mind. Hopefully you've done your research and you kind of know what prices in your area and for similar houses are going for. But ultimately, this is where having a good agent really comes in handy for you. It's really important because your agent will hopefully look at homes that are currently on the market that are similar to your homes. They'll have a good idea of what the market is not only currently doing, but where it's headed. And also they'll take into account the condition of your house and basically balance all of those things to come up with a competitive list price for your house. And obviously there's a lot of factors that go into this, because not only do you want to look out for your sellers and get the most money out of their house possible to make sure that, you know, the sellers are happy and they're getting what they want out of it, but also it's about keeping it competitive for potential buyers and just making the house as appealing to as many buyers as possible so that you have ideally the most options when it comes to selling. So if you are looking for an agent, definitely ask them those questions and just ask them how they come up with their list prices, or kind of what their process goes into behind it, so you can make sure that you are working with an agent that you really trust to do that, because it is a big thing, obviously, and it's really important that your agent is going to take that seriously for you. So number one thing, that's huge. So one thing that people tend to do sometimes is to underprice their house when they list it. And they might do this because they want to encourage buyers to submit more competitive offers or create a bidding war and ultimately drive up the selling price of their house. But there's actually a few reasons that doing this can hurt you. And one of those is just that ultimately, if it does sell for less than what you want it to, it gives you less buying power to go into your next home purchase. Not only that, but it's losing value of your home. You could potentially lose the equity that you've built up in that home over the time that you've owned it. And not only that, but it can kind of deter buyers who might be like, why is this house listed for this price when other homes that are just as nice or maybe even not as nice as this house are going for more? So those are just some potential red flags to doing that. Okay, now on the other hand, some people might want to overprice their house, thinking that a buyer will come along and submit a lower offer and they could negotiate from there. But again, there are a few reasons that you should not do this. One of them is just because it can cause the house to sit on the market for longer. And of course, as the house sits for longer and longer, buyers will start to think that there's something wrong with the house, and that'll probably deter even more buyers the longer it sits. Similar to that, dropping the price after it hasn't sold for a certain amount of time can also send the wrong message to buyers, just because they'll start to think that something is wrong with it, even if it's totally fine and you're just not getting the interest that you hoped for at that price range. One more thing on overpricing your house is that it can push the house out of like budget brackets for buyers. So say that you want to list your house at $405, even though you would be more than happy to get $400 out of it. That might seem like a good idea, but doing that could push it out of a bracket for a buyer who's looking at up to $400,000. So even though you would take that, the buyer probably wouldn't even see that house because it's out of their budget. So just something to keep in mind on that front, because again, overpricing can do a lot more damage than it's worth. So that's kind of where you find the sweet spot between underpricing your home and overpricing your home, and that's basically just where you want to be at market value. Pricing at a good, fair market value price is the number one way to sell your house faster. Ultimately, you'll probably get more money out of it anyway, because especially in markets like these, homes that are listed at a good market price are going insanely quickly with multiple offers, and most of the time it's going for over list price anyway, because so many buyers are interested in it, it's creating a bidding war. So ultimately that's where you want to be at, and again, that's where your agent will take into account what the market's doing, what they think the market is going to start to do, similar homes that have recently sold, and the condition of your house, and just come up with a great fair market value list price that'll get the most money out of your house and get it sold as quickly as possible, because that's probably what you want if you're watching a video like this. And hopefully that just helps to kind of bring it all together for you and understand why it's so important to find that balance. So that's it for today, guys. I know that was just pretty quick, but hopefully it was helpful for you and gave you some insight into pricing your home right. If you have any questions on, well, any of this really, but on buying or selling or anything in between, feel free to drop them below or send me an email or connect with me on social media, and I would love to help you guys out. But until my next video, see you guys next time. Bye.